Welcome to MORE-VILLE, Orville, the podcast that reviews the Orville. This is episode 16?
Yes.
Yes, you're right. Okay.
Yes, it's 16.
We're reviewing Nothing Left on Earth, Excepting Fishes, and I am joined by G.I. Jolie.
Hello. I, in fact, accept all fish.
Okay, also Champion.
How you doing, guys?
Doing awesome.
Ian just being normal.
Not too into seafood, all right? I'm just going to chill it over here.
Okay, fine.
Does anyone know, is this a literary reference, this title? I should probably have looked this up. Does anyone know?
Well, here's the thing. Ian's about to go through the plot with us, but it is a line from The King and I.
Ah, interesting. Oh,
One
because
of the
that's
songs?
the movie they're watching. Okay. Gotcha. All right, well, yeah, Mr. Memory here. Mr. Memory. Oh, you actually did rewatch these episodes before the review, right?
Yeah, I rewatched them. I'm trying something new, like, coming prepared. One of the things. It's
Might as well.
new stone I'm turning over. It's probably going to mess up, right? Like, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you the synopsis of some weird amalgam of the next 3 episodes that exists in my head.
Gotcha.
Because I watched them back to back. Okay, Nothing on Earth, Excepting Fishes. This one starts off, I believe, with Lieutenant Big Nose sauntering onto the ship wearing some sweat-stained...
Oh! That was so funny!
His name is wrong.
First Officer Grayson tells him, yeah, you should better go change. But Ed is surprisingly relaxed about the situation and says, you know what? No, dude, you're just on night shift. I'm leaving soon anyway, so you're fine. So it's noticed how relaxed Ed is. And we find out immediately why. He goes back to his quarters, and he's having a little movie date with the cute dark matter cartographer who we met an episode or 2 previously. So it turns out that they're together, and they're watching this show, or this movie rather, called, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called The King and I. Oh wait, no, we just mentioned that. And we get a little glimpse into their young relationship, and Ed is sort of exposing her to all this stuff that he likes, all of his movies, all this music. It turns out that their relationship is still a secret, though, and they decide that they're far enough along that they can go public with it. So Ed goes around and tells everyone. He tells Gordon. He asks his permission. Hey, dude, I know you got a thing for her. Is it cool? Yeah, it's cool. Kelly knew already because Ed has 15 different smiles, and she knows them all. And she's seen the one that means that he's in love. So okay, everything's fine. What's the lieutenant's name? Lieutenant Tyler?
Oh, I just had that. Janelle Tyler.
Okay, so Lieutenant Tyler and the captain decide to go on a little trip because she's a cartographer and she knows where all the cool places are. So they hop into a shuttle and they run into a little fleet of krill attack ships. So they cloak, but that's not good enough. They come around, they find him again. They take him prisoner on board one of their ships, and they start questioning the captain. They want his command codes so that they can learn about Union fleet movements. To compel him to do so, they flash up a little image of Lieutenant Tyler on the big screen, where she's being poked with a cattle prod, and that's not going to do. So he gives them what turned out to be fake command codes, but it's enough to get them to stop. And then we learn that, in fact, this isn't Lieutenant Janelle Tyler of the Planetary Union at all. It is Talea, a krill that we've met before. It is the school teacher from the ship that Ed and Gordon snuck onto wearing those little holograms. And they killed her brother. They killed a bunch of other people on the ship, and she has been harboring resentment ever since. So she learned of this plot after basically being a Union prisoner for a while. She enlisted. She's no longer a school teacher anymore. Now she's a soldier. she learned of this plot to capture a Union captain to get command codes, and she volunteered to have painful reconstructive surgery done to make her look human. And she picked Captain Mercer as the potential target. Now, as soon as we learn this, the Krill ship is attacked by a fleet of what they look like remans from one of the more terrible Star Trek TNG movies. I forget which one it was. Oh, Nemesis, Star Trek Nemesis. They look just like the remans. And they act just like them, too. Just wordless, grunting villains with guns. And they start attacking this ship. Talea and Ed escape in an escape pod to a habitable planet that they just happen to be almost in orbit around for some reason. They land and they hide in a cave because it's going to be daytime soon, and the Krill don't do well in the sun. They need to get to high ground to set up a transmitter, and it turns out that the days are very long on this planet, almost a month long on Earth, so they can't wait out the day in the cave. Ed has to go on his own. He sets up the transmitter. They call the Orville, who happen to be watching or listening to Krill frequencies for Planetary Union distress calls. They come and rescue them, and against everyone's better advice, once back aboard the Orville, Ed allows Talea to leave and just fly back home in an attempt to foster some sort of peace with the Krill.
And we hear Billy Joel's... Which... Was it Always a Woman?
Always a Woman.
Oh!
Yeah. I'm not a big Billy Joel fan.
But...
No, I have to admit I'm not either.
You're not familiar with that song?
I'm familiar with it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just said not big Billy Joel fans.
Oh, okay. I'm in the middle. I mean, his music is saccharine, is that the word? But, you know, he does what he does well, I think. But anyway. Okay, I have a question before we even talk about this episode. Was the actress who played...
Janelle Tyler. And Talea the same woman?
Yeah, it wasn't, was it?
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just see. I just talk amongst yourselves while I find the Wikipedia /IMDb page.
Ian, I want to know why you don't like Billy Joel.
Oh, I don't have anything against Billy Joel. I just don't really got
into him. See, when I was growing up...
He was always a little too saccharine.
Yes. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, when I was a kid, I actually had one of his records. I think it was... I don't know which one it was. It was one where he's on the cover and he's throwing a stone at a glass house. And I don't know. I mean, I think he's obviously talented, yeah, but it just depends on, you know...
That album is called Glass Houses.
Yeah! There you go. Like, I always liked... It's Only Rock and Roll to Me. I always liked, oh, geez. Not Piano Man. I'm so sick. I'm sure everyone, I bet you're sick of that, Ian.
I haven't heard that song in probably 15 years.
Really? Okay. I hate that song.
You're going to say like
But anyway,
10
we're not going to
hours.
talk about Billy Joel. We're going to talk about the Orville here. Now, Ian, before we started, you thought that this batch of episodes we're talking about were kind of flat. What did you think of this one?
It was I have trouble buying a lot of like after Ed learns that Janelle actually didn't exist. I have a hard time buying how hard he was trying to ascertain whether or not what she was feeling when she was masquerading as a human was real. Because at that point, like, why do you care if this person who has just admitted to only wanting to trick you, to steal your command codes, to destroy your entire race?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you care at that point? Well, did you like the movies that I liked?
Yeah.
Did you feel anything at all? Like, was this all? Like, yeah, it was all fake, dude. Seriously, like 100%. She was not into you at all. And it was just another glimpse into Captain Mercer's just his ego knows no bounds sometimes. He has thinking absolutely everything about him. And I find that a little, like, it goes a little too far sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I would even, like, venture to say that it's a little irritating for this episode. Because it wasn't, I wouldn't even have cared if he was like, or I would have expected more of the question of, did you feel anything for me? Was there anything there? Like, he actually asks her that, but then when he goes on and says, well, what about the King and I? What about Billy Joel? And then gives her a USB full of Billy Joel songs. It's like, bud, chill your incel shit out.
So here's the thing. This episode was written by, let me just see, was it Brandon Braga? Yes.
I think so.
And Andre Bormanis. Now, this is exactly, again, Brandon Braga is one of the most prolific writers on Next Generation. And this episode feels like one of those Next Generation episodes that is more important than it is engaging, I guess you could say. Like, you're watching the episode, you can see the message they're trying to send. However, yeah, I guess it's kind of like everything feels a little bit forced and a little bit convenient for the sake of the plot, maybe. Yeah. The way that things unfold. And some parts of it I did enjoy, but yeah, overall, I just felt like, okay, I get exactly what you're trying to do, but it's not really engaging me and it's not really entertaining me, and I didn't really feel much, even though there was attempts at pulling at your heartstrings. Like, you know, the use of that Billy Joel song at the end was well done, but like Jolie said, handing her the little chip of the Billy Joel music was a little bit cheesy, a little bit over the top, I thought.
I agree.
So just as an insert before I go on about the point that does work, the actress's name is Michaela McManus.
Okay, and she plays both roles.
Yeah, I was shocked because you can't even see her.
Right.
There's no semblance of that person with the krill makeup on, which is like a testament to their art department, their whole hair and makeup department.
Yeah.
But for me, the things that did work were when they were trapped together, hiding in the caves. When he's like, okay, well, I mean, we're going to set out tomorrow when the sun is down and you can go out. So I'm just going to catch some shut-eye. And he shuts his eyes and she says to him, can you roll over onto your side, please? Because when you sleep on your back, you snore and it's very annoying. Like that, to me, that line broke my heart. And I feel like what you were saying to Mike's point about the episode being more important than it was interesting, that thing is more important to the character. Just that interaction is more important to Ed's character, because we should care more that his heart is probably broken.
Mm-hmm. But we don't, kind of?
Yeah. And it makes me care more that he has lost love or an opportunity at love when they deliver lines like that, as opposed to all that crap about pop culture and like making sure she just likes the shit you like. Like, who cares, buddy? Mm-hmm. It's really hard. Yeah, the conversations between him and Kelly, where she's like, yeah, bud, I've known. I just was waiting for you to tell me. Like, it's important that Ed's character progresses, and then one of those progressions is that he finds love. That's obvious that they've written that in for him, and like it kind of destroys that progression when you put like trite things in there.
Well, the thing too is, as they were they were walking along together, and I mean, now she did have her gun on him or her phaser or whatever the whole time, but he was never seemed worried there was any danger, which was a little bit like there should have been a little bit of threat of danger. Like maybe she could have fired her phaser at him, because he was a little bit too nonchalant. Like she thought, it was almost like he just thought, oh well, we just dated, so she's not going to harm me. But he should have been worried, and she should have shown that he should have been worried. So that was a little bit convenient, I thought,
I agree with that. I think that they would have done better there. Like, it seems as though he knows something that we don't. And the thing that he seems to know is that she has some sort of lingering feelings for him that are never really expressed. And going back to what Jolie just said about how she made the comment, like, can you turn over, you snore and it's annoying, that hints at the fact that maybe the relationship did mean something to her. Now, had they explored that a little bit more, had they thrown more lines like that in there to reveal some of what her actual feelings about the relationship were, it might have made it seem more plausible that Ed wasn't really all that concerned that she had the gun on him the whole time.
Right. Yeah, something. Yeah, it was like it didn't have enough of that and too much of other things. And that's what I mean. There are definitely episodes of TNG where, like, Picard and Crusher are on a planet alone, or Picard and someone else are on a planet alone, and those or Picard and Wesley are on a planet alone, and those episodes are fine, but they tend to drone on a little bit because it is hard to squeeze a lot of drama out of just two characters stuck alone on a planet. And again, that weakness came out in this episode, I thought. So I don't know. I mean, I do like the idea of this plot where you plant someone on the ship and they're there for like 3 or 4 episodes as a spy. That's very cool. You know, I mean, it's a little convenient that they can get cosmetic surgery that is so accurate that no one realizes is actually a krill, you know, but whatever, that's fine. I was
kind of shaking my head at that too when she, as Talea, was explaining to Ed, yes, I had the surgery done and it was very painful, yet it seems to be very, very quickly reversible.
Yes!
with no ill effects at all. Like, hey, you were just in that room over there like 15 minutes ago. Like, I had the surgery reversed and you can't tell. Like, oh, all right.
Like,
okay.
Right.
It took longer to put the character's makeup on than it did to do the surgery.
Yeah, you're right. It should have been like a hologram or something. But anyway,
yes, because that has been established as, you know, a technology that exists. That sort of. But I guess as they're cuddling on the couch, he'd probably feel like the ridges on her head.
Right. Yes. Yeah. True. Good point. Which we'll get to in one of our next episodes. But go ahead,
just really quick. Speaking of about like just now that's about feeling ridges, we also don't get a sense of how long they've actually been dating.
Yeah, good point.
It also kind of like cheapens the whole experience, as in it's like, okay, well, I feel less bad for his heartbreak because I don't actually know how in love he actually is, or how in love she pretended to be. You know, this is like the first time we see.
We do know that they watched, was it 20 movies together?
Okay.
Because in the cave, he was, did you like any of the movies? Well, I like the one with the Nazis. And there's 1 out of 20. I think he made a comment like that. But again, it gives us a glimpse, but it doesn't give us a feeling that they've been together for very long. We can't feel it. We just get that little tiny bit of information.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it would have been better to drag it out longer. What if they were dating for like half a season, right? That would have been even cooler, I think.
Absolutely.
More of a shock. And then maybe drop a few little hints, right?
That would have been...
Yeah, it would have been another big mid-season twist. Anyway.
Is it joke time?
Could be joke time.
We haven't talked about the B story in this, which I forgot to mention, where Gordon decides all of a sudden that he wants some responsibilities, and he's going to take the command course because he wants to be a captain of his own someday.
Yes.
Oh, brother. And then we just find out that he's doing it to get chicks,
just to pick up chicks.
Which is good, because I want him to stay that jabroni character. I don't want him to be cool. I don't want him to be responsible, right?
Yeah.
Like, I like him just the way he is. He's actually really growing on me. He's getting funnier every episode, I find.
Yeah, he's really settling into his role. But he's never over the top about it either. It's one of the things that I enjoy about his character is that he's not a clown. He's a little clowny sometimes, but he's not written as a clown.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just... Oh, go ahead, Jolie.
Well, I was going to say towards the end, too, I was just trying to think, how did they wrap that B plot up? Well, okay, well, like, you know, he ends up not doing it. But there's a really good point, and it really highlights the difference between Ed and Malloy, where the decision to release Talea is made. He's like... Ed is like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to just take the risk. that I might be court-martialed because I'm letting this person go, but like it doesn't matter to me. And that's the kind of current Captain Ed is. Whereas Malloy is like, I can't believe he's doing that. If I was the captain, I would never do that. And Kelly says to him, well, that's command.
I hated that line.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we don't get the sense that something momentous is happening here. Like we don't get the sense that this is some sort of agonizing decision that Captain Mercer's had to make, that he's even necessarily prepared to accept the consequences of it. We don't know what those consequences are. All we know is that I'm letting her go. Why? Well, we know why, because he had a thing for her, and that's it. And it doesn't seem like this is there might be some secondary positive effects from this if the Krill say, okay, maybe these guys aren't so bad, but it doesn't seem that that's the way he's thinking.
That's a good, yeah.
And for her to say, well, that's command. Nah, this is him being irresponsible, in my opinion.
Right, I agree.
To do this without even talking to the Admiralty about it, to just go off and, like, this person infiltrated your entire military, got a position on a Union ship in order to get close to a member of the command structure and kidnapped them. Who knows what other secrets they have? You might want to ask them a question or two. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 100% for personal reasons. It has nothing to do with being in command. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, oh crap, I was going to say something else, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, I was going to say, that sounds like that line comes from experience of someone who learned to write not from their military experience, but from watching Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like this is not actually command. No, it's not. It's not a command decision. But anyway.
It's something your commander did, but it's not an example of command.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all right. Anyway. Now it's joke time.
Okay.
Pardon me. You got that queued up?
I've got it queued up, and
not that there are many jokes.
There's a few jokes, definitely. So let's just play one of them.
Orville episode 16. Nothing left on Earth excepting fishes. Bordas is talking about the intern security chief. He comes to the mess hall wearing sandals.
Like that, lines like that are hilarious. And the fact that he was in a gray jogging suit just covered in sweat, I don't know. I love that bit. Okay.
I also like seeing that all of his other outfits, and we know that this is his reality because of his esophageal trunk.
Yeah.
That he has holes in all of his
shirts.
All of his shirts. But it's just nice to see that he has a jogging suit too.
Right. Okay, hold on here. Another one.
Malloy says that he wants to take the test to become a commander. He walks out of the room and Bordas looks at Kelly. He will fail.
That was one of my all-time favorite jokes of the whole series. He will fail. And I went back and watched it twice because the camera watches Malloy walk out and then it pans over to Bordas and he says it. So you know they had to get that exact movement right. It was just so perfect.
And he says it so matter-of-factly too. It's like, right, no, he will fail.
What's the actor's name again? Bordas. Oh, Peter Macon, or
is it Macon?
Macon. He is so perfect. Like, just the way that he's always got a complete straight face, and you know how he kind of does that side eye whenever he's looking at someone? That is like 100%. He's got that down. You know what I mean? He's like, he never breaks that perfect delivery. I just love him. But anyway, okay, here, let me play a couple more. Wait.
I won't let you down.
Oh.
Future captain right here.
He will fail.
I actually recorded it. Sorry, guys. I included both, but anyway. Okay, wait, here's the next one. Here's the next one.
Well, maybe not. But you know what we do have? We have heart. And we have a lot of heart, a lot of passion. You know, so watch out.
You will release the prisoners, or you will die.
See, that's another great. Like, just let Malloy do whatever he wants. He's just so funny, you know.
That was That was a funny scene, but I like that scene as well because it had a little callback to an original Star Trek episode of the original series, the Corbomite Maneuver, where he's talking about, we have some sort of device that is just going to bounce whatever you fire at us right back at you.
Right.
Which was the critical plot point of that episode, though not so humorously delivered back then.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, I don't know, is there anything else to say about this episode? Like, I guess we all kind of agree it had some good points, but it was a little bit dull.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, it was fine, but it emotionally, it left a lot to be desired, and kind of, it's hard to get into it.
Yeah, it was nice to see Talea back. Hey, bringing back, like, characters that we see from past episodes. That's kind of fun. But yeah, it's pretty middling otherwise. The Krill.
Oh, yeah, the star of the episode. Yes, I'm not good with names. Anyway.
No.
Well, okay, I guess that's it for this episode then, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I mean, I still recommend it. It was still entertaining, but yeah, it was it was a little bit dull. One of the more dull episodes. I guess that's it. Okay, I guess that's it. So yeah, you can find every episode of MORE-VILLE, Orville, wherever you found this one, but if you're going to take the time, type in www.comicbooksyndicate.com and find every episode of MORE-VILLE, Orville, as well as every episode of Here Comes the Spider-Cast, Flea Market Fantasy, and Full Volume Podcast. I want to thank Champion G.I. Jolie for joining me again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and be sure to join us next episode and every episode after that as we continue to review every single episode of the Orville. And until next time, there's more where that came from.